Thanks for watching Money on Main Street. For our CEO sit-down today, we're welcoming Rob Basso to our program. He's the founder of Advantage Payroll Services, and LIBN named him one of Long Island's top 40 business leaders under 40 when he was under 40. Thanks for joining us today and serving as our guest, Rob.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, so today we're talking about risk-taking. Now, in your book, The Everyday Entrepreneur, you say you should have fun with risks.
Yeah.
Now, is it a matter of programming your mind to think that way, to have fun with risks, or should you actually keep that adrenaline going because that's actually going to help you and encourages you?
Well, when I say have fun with risks, that's with a caveat. You really have to make sure that the timing is right for your organization to be taking a risk. But if you're not taking a risk within your business is dying. And the way I've always taken it is if I'm thinking about launching a new product or a service, I believe that it's really important to investigate it to a point where you're certain that it's going to work in the marketplace. But at some point, you have to pull that trigger and you have to be ready to do that. That's what separates a small business owner from an entrepreneur.
I find that a lot of people are on one end of the spectrum or the other. They either are ready to pull the trigger and they don't know what just happened, or they research to death and they miss the opportunity. How do you figure out the ultimate timing?
Well, you certainly don't want to be paralyzed by making a decision, but really what you need to do is you look, how is this decision going to affect you and your business? What's the purpose for this decision? Why am I making this decision? And set a pro and con list up. I know it sounds silly, but I do that when I make any huge decisions within my organization to look, what's the reason for doing this and what's the bad things that can happen? But if you don't do that, that's when you're really putting your business at risk, just willy-nilly going and making a decision. Oh, I feel great about this. You could feel great about something, but if it's not right for your business at that time, you should have a pause for concern.
Now, you also talk about protecting your risk.
Yeah.
Can you give us some concrete examples, maybe some different business scenarios of what you're talking about?
Well, for example, if you're going into a new product or a new market, you dip your toe in the water before you put all your advertising dollars. You do some social media marketing. You do some local advertising. Rather than saying, okay, I got the best product or service in the world, I'm going to spend $500,000 on just television ads. Well, wait a minute. Maybe television is not even the best route. Maybe the local media and social media is the way to sell that product or service. So it's about tempering your expectations and only biting off little pieces until you're really ready to go for it.
So are you a believer in the fact that you should go for it as a small business owner or moonlight while you still have your day job?
I'm a big fan of moonlighting while you have your day job at the very beginning, but there has to come a point where you say, can I make a real run at this? And when that decision gets made, you need to spend 100% of your effort on your new business. I have never seen a business thrive and be incredibly successful with part-time effort. You need full-time effort.
Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook has said the biggest risk is not taking any risk. But how do you separate a calculated risk from a foolish risk?
A lot of it comes up to you as an individual, how everybody's different risk tolerances. I have a very high risk tolerance. Some people might have a low risk tolerance. You have to know who you are to make the best decision within your business and never waver from those guidelines.
You said you have a high risk tolerance, but that can lead to many failures.
It can. And I failed at a lot of things that I've done. Most of my things that I've done publicly look like they've gone really well, but the truth is, the reason I've been successful in my public image is because I failed many, many times to get to that point. And a lot of times, people don't realize that my biggest successes turned out to be from my failures.
And in our final seconds, Entrepreneur.com was talking about Amazon, where employees, when they go to a manager and they say, I have a great idea, they actually make it difficult for the manager to say no. And if they do say no to the idea, they actually have to give a 2-page explanation. Talk to us about that.
I think it's interesting. You know, I think for large organizations like that, it potentially it could work. But I think if you're in a small entrepreneurial, it's having that relationship with the owner or the person running the business to be able to say, listen, do you trust me or do you not trust me? And like at my organization, a woman runs my organization, my day-to-day, and I trust her implicitly. If she says she wants to do something, I need very little explanation of why she wants to do it. I trust that she's going to make the right decision for the organization. So it really comes down to the way you work with other people within your organization, your interpersonal skills.
All right. Sounds great.
Thanks
for joining us. And don't go away. We're coming right back.